Hello, Diane here. I'm making knitting project bags today, and I thought I'd show you how I put together these little straps for the to hook onto the zipper. You can see this way. I don't like the straps to be really big, even though this is a big bag. This bag is approximately 20 by 18, I want to say. No, 16. 20-inch width, 16 length or height. And they're all lined. I'll show you this. Very handy for bigger projects. You can see there's a lot of space in there. It's got a squared off bottom. This is cotton and steel fabric, which I love. It's kind of pricey. I try to buy it on sale. It only takes half a yard to make a bag, so not real bad. And I don't have a lot of remnants. I try to get a needle cozy, a needle holder out of it if I can, or at least a strap, because sometimes I just grab my bags like this and take them with me, but sometimes you need a strap, or sometimes you want it on your wrist. So anyway, that's what this is about. And I make them so small and skinny, as you can see. Can I get any closer here? It's quite thin. And when it gets over here, it can be bulky to try to sew it. So I just want to show you my little trick, and probably many of you, or most of you do this, but it took me a little while to figure it out. So let me show you what I do. Okay. So here's what I do when I'm creating the handle. I take a scrap, and in this case my scrap is approximately 2 inches by, let's see, 16. Yeah, approximately. I just use a scrap that looks about that size. What I do is fold it in half like this and say, is that long enough for a little handle? And I say yes it is. If it is. Okay, so the first thing I do is press it in half, wrong sides together. And I'm a big fan of steam, so I use steam. I'm going to press this piece in half, wrong sides together. That's a little crooked. Get it nice and straight. Okay, and if your fingers can't take the steam, which sometimes even now it's hot, they sell these thermal finger tips. I think that one's for your thumb. These work really well. I'm gonna find the ones that fit you. Okay, so now what you do is you fold. You fold wrong sides together again up to that middle fold. Lint. Yeah, right up to that middle fold like that. So let's press those together. Press the other side. Now, I want this to be one continuous ring. So I am going to stitch these ends right sides together. I turn this thing like this. I'm going to open it all back up now, but I have my fold lines there that will remain even after I stitch this. So what I'm going to do is take my little, it's only a 1.5 inch lobster claw, because I don't like them big and bulky, and this fits very nicely on that medium-sized zipper tab, the hole in the zipper tab. So the first thing I'm going to do is make it small again and stick it in this bottom area. It doesn't matter which way you put this on, because we're going to turn it later when we're finished sewing everything. So now I take this, making sure it's not twisted, like this, and put the right sides together this time. Make sure it's going to look right, which it is. So we're going to take the right sides together and we're going to stitch it. If it's not exactly even, you can trim it up. Mine's a little off. I think that'll be hidden when I top stitch it. Okay, so I'm going to stitch this. Be right back. Okay, so here I am back with my little handle, which I have just top stitched. I don't know if you can see that. Top stitched. There, okay. No, I'm sorry, I didn't top stitch it, I seamed it. Put a seam in there. And now I'm going to put the folds back in. Let's just set this seam in there and put my folds back in and repress the way it was. And if it's twisted, I take it apart. I don't think it's twisted. It should make a nice continuous circle. Circle, circle, circle. And keep following it. Fold it. Fold it. So there, it didn't twist. I say that, but I think I'm wrong. I think it did twist. Let's see. There we go. No, it didn't twist. It's kind of hard to tell you that it didn't, but you have to take my word for it here. I put it here, as you can see. So now it's twisted, and this thing is still sliding along. So what I'm going to do now is the top stitching. I am going to stitch right along this edge, and then I'm going to stitch this the lobster claw in place. I'll be right back. Okay, so here it is. It's a close-up of the top stitching. Move this back so you can see the whole tie. Okay, so what I did was, as I top stitched, I could just move this little lobster claw along, and I'd continue to stitch. So now I stitched the open end closed, and I have a continuous loop for my strap. So what I'm going to do now is find where I connected. Here's my seam where I connected the fabric. I just bring the claw back up to that little mark, get it nice and tight, and it doesn't matter which side. I kind of like the other side though. It doesn't matter which side you stitch it on. I'm going to just take a little stitch, a little top stitch right here, and it's done. So there you have it. You'll notice that I stitched multiple rows of stitching to where this is joined, just so that it would be nice and tight. Oops, I got a thread to cut there. I didn't cut that thread. I'm going to cut that thread. But there you have it. A nice strap that's usually difficult to sew on this end so that it's a nice neat looking job. I think this turns out nice and neat. Well, thanks for watching. If you ever have to make a little handle, I think this is one way that you can get the job done pretty quick. Thanks for watching. Bye.